How about now? Sorry, guys. You guys are probably like, what is happening? Hello, everybody. Okay, I think it works. Hey, Bianca, can you guys hear now? Happy New Year, Heather. Hi, Jen. Hi, Misty. Hi, Meredith. Hello, Savannah. Hello. Hello, Bianca, woman at the well. Woman at the well, that's you, Crystal, right? Hi, Kristen. Hi, Michelle. I'm looking both ways because I have two streams going. Hey, Lashana. Hi, Jacinthia. Happy New Year, everybody. Whoop, whoop. I made it. That's what we need to sing. Late in the midnight hour, God's going to turn it around. It's going to work in your favor. Come on. I'm not going to be long because it's New Year's Eve. Tons of fireworks going off right now outside of my house. My dogs they need to be delivered from a spirit of fear and a tormenting spirit. So I'm going to have to go take care of them. But I do want to cover our lessons. I have had this I'm not canceling thing going on. I'm like, why do our core group chats fall on like holidays, like Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve? And I'm like, hey, whoever comes, and I'm not canceling. I'm here, so it's good. I've got this severe filters on right now because I did not want to put on too much makeup and get ready for this live. Hello. Oh, Heather, that's so cool. So Heather says, my son is the first baby of the new year of 2003. I love the first babies. Oh, that's something like, it's so special. That's right, Bright. Come on, everybody type in, I made it. Say, I made it. I don't know what time zone you're in, but here in Florida, we only have a few more hours of the year left. Hello, that's right. Such a blessing. Yes. Hi, Glenda. Hi, Delphia. Hi, Eva. Who else is on here? Hi, Patty. Hello, Chantel. Carolyn, how are you? Carolyn said, I stopped everything. I was like, I'm not missing this for anything. Oh, you are such a blessing. You're in your bed in your pajamas. I love that, Bright. Bright says, I love your I'm not canceling spirit. We're not canceling core group. We may have to shift other things in our life around, but we're not canceling core group. There was a season where I had so much going on and I didn't manage my time as well as I could. And so at nighttime, I really was spending time with my family. And so I would cancel meetings more often, but the Lord really has, just pressed upon my heart to accommodate my life in such a way where I'm not just waiting at night to be with my family. Like today, we had time together, and we are intentional about doing that because I want to make sure that I'm available for the times that I've set for my core group. So just a vulnerable moment right there. I'm just keeping it real. There were times where I would cancel. I'm like, I'm canceling. I'm tired. I want to spend time with the family. I miss my hubby. I want to spend time with Cameron, or something's going on. Now it's like, it doesn't matter if it is my birthday, your birthday. We will be here. Come on, somebody. So who remembers our topic for Monday? Or this week, really, the theme for this week? Who remembers? Who can tell me? YouTube always answers faster. I don't know. I think it's just how the stream is. Hi, Kira. Hi, Lonnie. You made it. That's right. Hi, Luella. Tandra. There's so many new people. What is going on? Hi, Paula. Hi, Kaylee. Listen, everybody tag somebody. Somebody tag anybody, because they need to be here. And they may or may not come on the live, but it's good to get a tag, right? I never, ever, ever leave the important broadcast that I want to be on I never leave that up to a Facebook notification. So I'm going to give you stirring mama right now, okay? Do not write in the comments and say, I didn't get the notification. You're not, the notification on Facebook is not responsible for your spiritual growth. Come on now, I'm going to give it to you for real. Y'all call me Mama Jenny for a reason. Do not leave Facebook notification to get you to core group. There are times that we post. If you go to the welcome post, you'll see all the times for every single thing that's happening. Facebook notifications get the devil in them sometimes. Like, I'm just being real. I have had Facebook notifications on from my spiritual father from the day I started following him, and he didn't even know me. I have him on See First. You can't even imagine how many times I have missed his Facebook lives and looked through and there was no notification. I said, no, this here devil. So I have learned, do not leave Facebook notifications up to get you to where you need to be. You have a phone, you have alarms, you have calendar, you have notebooks, you have journals, you have family. One thing that I do, if I really want to do something, I tell my daughter. I tell my daughter, because some reason kids love to remind the parents of what they need to do. You know it's true. Like, I'm trying to eat healthy, so I'm not having any sugar. I can't tell you how many times my daughter has reminded me of that. I'll say, can I get a bite of your mashed potatoes? Because it's I'm not supposed to have any starches either, carbs. And she'll say, you're not supposed to have any. So I'm sorry, but I can't. Okay. I see you. So don't leave it up to a Facebook notification. That is our first tip going into 2021. Facebook is not responsible for you. Come on, somebody. Hold on, I dropped my pen. I actually got a marker today because I want to get into this book. No, I'm not vegan. I enjoy my meat too much. I'm sorry, y'all. My stepdaughter is, though. She is vegan, but I am not. I feel like I'm helping the earth, because if I didn't eat the meat, then we probably would have, overpopulation of animals. So it's just my way of contributing to just keeping everything smooth and flowing. That's how I see it. Somebody's laughing. I know you heard the joking in that. Come on. Hi, Elizabeth. Yes, Cameron, keeping me accountable. How does rejection enter in? Before we get here, let me give you one announcement. I'm going to be live tomorrow doing communion. I've asked everybody to please join me. All of my core group students, I would love for you to join me. It's going to be on Facebook and Instagram. So all of you YouTubers, if you don't have that, I don't know how you're going to get. Oh, I'll probably upload it, but I'll upload it the day after. Okay. So I hope that you all will join me. It's at 9 p.m. All you need to do is get some sort of bread, crackers, wafer, whatever you want to do. And juice, water, whatever, however you take communion. Okay. And so that's what we are going to be doing. And then starting the beginning of the year, which is actually tomorrow, on Monday, I'm going to give you all a code to get my fasting e-course for free. My shirt says Fearless. I know it's backwards on Facebook. Yeah, it says Fearless. So that way you guys can have a great resource. It's normally a fee for that, but I'm feeling very generous, and you guys know I love you guys so much. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Stacy, if I don't remember, please do that. Is Stacy even on here? Stacy, are you on here? If you are, can you please go over to the core group on YouTube and snag that link and then post it into the Teachable side. Let me turn this light on real quick. Sorry, guys. I feel like I'm so dim. Is that better? All right, here we go. Y'all ready? No, it's not a new collection. It's the same old shirt I've had for years. I don't know where I got it. I think it was a gift. All right, let's get into our lesson today. Oh, hi, Stacy. Can you do those things? Mary, can you, if she needs to hear it again, can you reiterate? How does rejection enter in? An open door to rejection comes when we don't receive love and acceptance. God created us to receive. God wants us to receive acceptance and love. This is a normal part of being a human being. People that say, I don't need anybody. When you hear that being said, that person 99.9% of the time is dealing with some sort of rejection in their life. Because we were created to need each other. It's a part of our DNA. It's a part of our makeup. And so that's what God put in us. God created us a desire to love and to be accepted. We need love from our families and others, and especially need the love of God. Come on, somebody. Got something. By the way, I am reading from Breaking the Spirit of Rejection by John Eckhart. Okay, this is what I wanted to go to. All right, different ways that rejection can come in. Rejection can come in through the womb. We talked about that on Monday. Remember? Rejection can come in if somebody was rejected by the parents said things like, I really want a boy, and they got a girl. I really want a girl, they got a boy. Rejection can come in if the parents said things like this and didn't mean it. Like it was just out of ignorance, okay? Rejection can set in if parents say, oh my goodness, this child is going to be such a burden. How are we going to take care of the rest of the family? I don't want this child. We can't take care of this child. We can't afford this child. Things like that. Come on, somebody. And so when the child receives those words, the parental head, the parents are the ones that really declare and confess over the child good things, life. I'm sorry, I was like, what page? Are they talking about Facebook pages? You guys are talking about this page. I'm on page 14. I know a lot of you bought it. You got 2 of his books today? Nice. I have this worst hair on my tongue. It's really aggravating. All right, let me keep going. Mother and baby bonding after birth is another place early in life where a child is assured of his or her place in the family. If this bonding does not happen, you guys can let me know in the comments if this has happened to you. If this bonding early on, as soon as the child was born, did not happen, the baby may sense rejection. They may also, this may also be why some adopted children suffer from a spirit of rejection. So if you're adopted, if you had someone else had to take care of you, your mother couldn't take care of you, the father couldn't take care of you, and maybe grandma had to take care of you, or an aunt, or another family member, or even foster parents, people that you didn't know, then many times you may be experiencing rejection. Now, I'm not saying that if you went through those things, you most definitely are experiencing rejection. I'm just saying these are different ways that rejection can enter. Let's go to the next one. You ready? Generational rejection. Rejection can be passed down through the generations of a family. Parents who have suffered from hereditary rejection or have been rejected before marriage find it hard to show love and affection to their children. So have you ever had a parent who did not receive love? They didn't receive affection from their parents. Many times it is very difficult for them to just naturally show that, because those foundational things must be instilled in a child very early on. So when you skip that, the only way that you can really exhibit that and walk in that is if you have been restored by the love of God. I'm just going to keep it real. I can see parents that maybe didn't receive love the way they needed to. I'm a prime example of this. Many of you are, but are still able to love and nurture in a healthy way their children. And those things that happen to them are not being passed down to their children only because of the restoration and the delivery of Jesus Christ. Come on, somebody. And so, but many times if someone does not get restoration in that area, they're not fully healed, they're not delivered, all they're doing is they're now passing this rejection on. Like, have you ever seen where they pass the plate? They get the plate and they take of the plate and they eat everything on the plate, and then they make a plate and then they go and they pass it. That's what's happening. It's just being passed down, passed down. My mother told me this story this was probably 2 years ago, maybe less. I was driving. I know exactly the moment that this happened. I never heard my mother talk about this before. She called me. I was in the car, so I'm listening to her. I got her on speaker. And she says to me, I got in contact with grandma, and she says, I was talking with grandma. Grandma's doing well. Oh, that's good. Nice. I'm like, oh, that's great. And she says, I sent a picture to her of my new haircut. And she said, and you know, grandma said something so mean. And I said, what? What did she say? And she said, grandma said, I don't like your hair like that. This was my own mother telling me this. So I'm like very like, whoa, uncomfortable, because we didn't talk like that. She would not share those deep things with me. She was more like the mother for me, not the other way around. And she said, you know, that hurt my feelings so hard, so bad. She said, grandma, growing up, she never told me that I was beautiful. She said, you know, every time I did something nice, I wanted to look nice for her. I wanted to do my hair up for her. I wanted to get a nice outfit to show her. She always said something very critical, very mean, very nasty to me. And she said, my whole life, I thought that I wasn't pretty. And she told me that she actually began to tell my grandmother this. My grandmother recently passed away this year. She said, you never said anything nice to me. And you know what my grandmother told my mother? Well, my mom never said anything good to me, and I'm fine. Did you hear what I just said? Did you pick up what just happened there? So my grandmother never received love, acceptance, any affirmation from her mother, my great-grandmother, who passed away from cancer. So she just thought it was very normal and natural to speak that way to her daughter, my mother, and not think anything of it. In her own words, she said, I'm fine. I made it. Yeah, but you didn't. Yes, that's right. That's right, Delphia. Repeat. It was just being repeated. And so when I was growing up, same thing. Now my mother has broken a lot of that, because she's able to say, I'm proud of you. She just wrote me yesterday, I'm so proud of you. She told me all the time, since I've been probably about 18, you're very beautiful. I like this about you. You have the coolest eyes. You have the best style. So she began to do something a little different. I thank God for that, because it was able to break me out. And so I've been able to encourage and love in a healthy way, not just constant affirmation to the child, but in a healthy way to affirm my child. And you know that I say that we are the bloodline breakers. Yes, that's right, Shelly. So Shelly is saying that happened in her family as well. Yes, Mary, it was learned behavior. And it really hurt my mom. And she came to realize that just a few years ago, that she was like very rejected. And I was the one counseling my mother. It was a very strange thing. I was like, Mom, well, you know, you're so beautiful. I mean, hello, like, you got it, girl. I mean, you got it. And she actually does. So, but even if it wasn't about looks, it comes from a deep place. It's more like, it doesn't really matter if you are the talk of the town. You need to know that you are beautiful. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You're special. You're unique. You're cool. You stand out. You're amazing. That's why I always tell you all, you are my amazing core group. I love you. You're amazing. Debbie says, when my dad passed away, just stared at the casket like a stranger, no emotion at all. So we're going to really break these things down, and we're going to really break down some different things. I know some of you are like, well, I didn't have that. My family was just perfect. Can anybody actually say that? I just want to know, because I want to interview you if possible. I want to see exactly what perfect is. I want to see it. So if you can identify with having a brokenness in your family, or, you know, there was a little friction here, a little friction there, a little unhealthiness here, and a little unhealthiness there, or a lot of bit of unhealthiness, let me know. Or rejection can come in if there is extreme poverty in the house, feeling like you never have enough. Children grow up in homes like this can feel rejected if the parents are ashamed or fear that they're not adequately able to take care of the children. So if the parents are very fearful that they can't take care of the children, that because of the finances, that the children are more of a burden, the children actually internalize that, personalize it. They feel it. They feel rejected. Okay? Come on. Let me keep going. Let me keep going. A person also can be rejected by their family. This kind of rejection results in abandonment by one or both parents, abuse from authority figures. That's either emotional abuse. Some of you had Jezebelic parents. I say parents because people just automatically assume it's the mother that's can have a Jezebel spirit, but it is not a spirit that only operates in women. I just want you guys to know that. So if you had a very Jezebelic parent, a very abusive parent, someone that's narcissistic, I see that. Even parents that have mental issues, they have mood disorders, or even dealing with schizophrenia or double-mindedness. The Bible says that someone who's double-minded, they're unstable in all of their ways. So that would mean all of their ways, including parenting, including knowing how to love. They're unstable. So if one of the parents left, the dad left, or the mom left, then the child could feel neglect. The child could feel rejection. Being put up for foster care, being put up for adoption, being born with birth defects, experiencing the death of a parent. Very young age, you experience the death of a parent. That is, it's a horrific thing to go through. Or yes, if the parents even were on drugs. So even if they're in the house and they're on drugs, it's really like they're not even there, right? And when they are there, they wreak havoc. Having an overbearing parent or perfectionist parents. We've all seen the movies where they're pushing the child to do so much. The child can never live up to the parent's standards. It's always rebuke. It's always firm and stern correction. It's hardly any love or cheering them on or affirmation at all. Very little affection, physical affection, just loving, hugging, patting them on the back, holding their hand. Very little of that, but lots of just overbearing. Don't eat like that. Take your hand down. Move over here. Sit up straight. I'm like, that was my life. That was my childhood. As I mentioned earlier, birth order can sometimes be the root. So I didn't mention that. This is what Apostle John Eckhart wrote. The middle child can be vulnerable if he feels the parents favor the elder or the younger sibling. Let me ask you guys a question. Has anybody on here, if you've ever experienced that, where you felt like another sibling in your family was the favorite? I know parents, I have actually seen this. I know parents that verbalize this. They actually verbalize this and they think it's funny. And it kind of like makes me feel some type of way. And it's not a happy feeling, because I don't like that. I can't stand ignorance, and I don't like evil. And I feel like it is evil to verbalize and say, oh, that's my favorite. You know, you're our favorite. The baby's the favorite. and the other children are in the room, and they're agreeing because they've learned to kind of cope with this. Their coping mechanism is just to kind of like, just go along with it. Don't let anyone see that you're really hurting. Don't let anyone see that you're really upset. Don't let anyone see that you have anger and rage toward your sibling or your parent. So they just go in there like, yeah, there's the favorite. He's the baby. He's the spoiled one. And really they're growing up feeling like, but I'm not the favorite. But I'm not favored. I'm not thought of like that child. Why is this child thought of and cared for like this, but I am not? We have to be very careful how we deal with our children. Little things that people do all the time, I think, are so damaging to children. My father used to say to my brothers, if they cried, if they like complained about something, he would call them sissies. And my mother, one time, she said, she said, don't you ever call them that again. And I knew what she was doing, because she was making it, you don't declare that over them. And I had a nephew who his father called him that all the time and would kick him down if he didn't man up, in his words, man up, and say, come on, man up, sissy, you little crybaby. And my nephew to this day is dealing with homosexuality and literally takes that on and doesn't even blink an eye of it. He acts like a woman, just a complete woman. And it is very heartbreaking. And I think about when he was 3 years old and 4 years old, and he was crying, and nobody said that was okay. They just made him hold it all in. And it was it just burns me up, because I think, why would you do that to a child? It's very sad. You all have seen this. They're like, come on, you being a sissy. No, they're not. That's the problem now. That's why you won't see men in church crying and really sharing their feelings. They hold it all in and got demons like you can't even imagine. We must do better. We must do better. That's why God brought you here, so you can get some revelation and carry it on. Come on, somebody. So you can get free and carry it on. I know what I know now, and I can look back and I can share these stories about my family, because I truly believe that it's going to help somebody. I can hold my tongue, even in anger. Yes, it is okay to be angry, but sin not. Even in anger, because I have been angry at some of the things my child has done. I have been angry. I have told my husband, I cannot deal with this situation because I am too emotionally involved at this current moment. I say it just like that. I can't deal with the situation. I'm too emotionally involved. I'm over there on the verge of tears because I don't like certain things to be said. I don't like when anybody is very selfish. I want everyone to share. So when I see these behaviors, it just breaks my heart, and it actually makes me very upset. But in that, even in me correcting, I've had to hold my tongue and say, be careful what you say here. Be careful what you say. Like, I try never to say, you never listen. I don't like doing that, because I really feel like I'm declaring that over the child. I never say, we don't like you when you do that. I would never say that, ever. And so I'm very mindful, even in heated moments, which can be difficult, not to say something that'll cause a word curse to be spoken over my child, because the enemy, he's not taking naps. He's waiting for an opportune time, just like the Bible says in Luke 4, for an opportune time to come back and to strike again. Don't give him a chance. Let's keep going. I could stay on this all day. Other ways rejection enters in early stages of life. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? I know you guys are all sharing, and I love that. I appreciate that you share, and I appreciate your vulnerability, and I appreciate your transparency. Yes, I see the different comments. And Heidi, we know that the devil is a liar. because we're all glad that you were born. And that's a fact. So we just cancel out those words. Yeah, things are breaking now. Things will not be passed on to our children. Woo, come on, Kira. All right. Rejection can come in from parents' relationships with each other. If the child has witnessed the father abusing the mother sexually, verbally, or physically, rejection can come in. Living in a home with unhappy parents who constantly argue, constantly fight, or they won't talk to each other, only speaking to the children, which causes the children then to feel guilty and responsible. Living in a home where one or both parents are alcoholics or drug abusers. Other ways, from parents' relationships to children. Being parented by a weak, apathetic, passive father. Being constantly criticized and made to feel like one can never measure up. Being raised by parents who show no active interest in the child's schooling, sports interest, or leisure time, meaning they don't care what the child is into. That's heartbreaking. Being raised by parents who have abundant finances, abundant resources, listen to this, but are stingy and withhold provision from the child. So if the child needs something, the parents are wealthy, but the parents do not want to loose any of those funds or provisions to the child. Child's got messed up shoes. Parents are wealthy, can get the new shoes. No, you got to work for this. Nobody should have to work for shoes or basic necessities in the house. That's my opinion. Being parented by a father who shows more attention to his daughter's friends than he does to his own daughter. That's a whole spirit on its own, and we already know what that spirit is. But it makes the daughter feel like she can't measure up and that her own friends have gained her father's attention, but somehow she missed it. There must be something wrong with her, right? And it's not true. Being constantly left at home alone because the parents' working hours or their disinterest in the child's welfare. My husband would tell me, he said, when we were growing up, he said, Mom and Dad, they were gone all the time. He said they actually, my mother-in-law, she's amazing, by the way. Like, she's amazing. But when she was younger, and it was Stephen and his older sister, Nana and Papa, that's what I will call them. Nana and Papa had a house on the lake. It was a few cities over. So they would drive out to the lake and they would stay at their lake house. And, you know, they were younger parents. And so they left Stephen and his older sister in the house. And she was older. She was a teenager, so she was able to watch him. And they were gone for the weekend, and that's what they did all the time. And so Stephen recalls being left at home and parents not being there. And he has told me it has really affected him and really bothered him. And of course, he's talked about it with his mother, and she has said, you know, I do apologize for that. So there has been some healing. Let's keep going. What time is it? Okay. Okay. I'm on page 18 for those of you who are following. If you ever see me skip around something, that's because I haven't done enough studying on my own about that topic, and I may or may not want to dive into it. That's just how I am. I love everything, but I also make sure that I checked over everything too, if that makes sense. All right. Experiencing parental harshness or coldness, never receiving forgiveness or a sense of being trusted by one's parents. Being used to getting your own way and regularly receiving preferential treatment. Basically, what that means is being spoiled. Now, some of you are like, how can being spoiled be a gateway for rejection? Because a child's need for boundaries, guidelines, and to hear that no, it's crucial for a child to have that. If they are just given everything, and the parents withhold correction, they withhold disciplining the child will grow up feeling like, why didn't they love me enough to correct me? Why didn't they stop me? Why did they just give me everything? And they actually grow up being rotten. And I always say, when I see spoiled kids, I say they're doing that child so wrong by doing that. Because when they leave that house one day, they're going to come face to face with a very real world. And trust me when I tell you, somebody out there is going to put them in their place very quickly. And so it's better for the parents to do that and say no, and teach them how to cope with a no in the house, rather than put them out in the world and they have to figure out how to cope with the no out in the world. It's not good. It's not good at all. So people are like, oh, I wish I could just get everything that I want. No, you don't. Be thankful for some of those no's. All right, here we go. Let's keep going. Being bribed or threatened to be academically successful. I certainly was not bribed, and I was not academically successful. Oh, but some of you might have been. Maybe you were threatened. You don't get an A, then we're going to kick you out, or, then we don't love you, or whatever it is. I don't know how extreme that could be, but I'm sure it can be. Rejection can enter in a child if they have a sibling who is terminally ill or mentally challenged and requires extensive medical care and attention. That doesn't mean that if you have a sibling that requires, extensive medical care, that you are dealing with rejection. But many times it does happen because obviously, with no fault of the parents, they have to invest a lot into that child that needs more attention, more help, more catering, more daily, just help. And so the other child that doesn't need that constant hands-on help, they may feel this comparison or that there is a imbalance of the love and the treatment, when in actuality, the parents may love both the same, but they're not receiving that because they're seeing one child being taken care of more than they are, if that makes sense. And then, of course, you have where the parents actually could be, loving and treating other child a lot better than the one that's not dealing with issues of that measure. And so it's important that parents they're aware and that they're sharing this love, because the last thing you want is for people to grow up rejected. Almost every one of you in here said, hey, I'm dealing with rejection in a way. And those things that the ways that they entered, they just kind of like spiral. It's like, have you ever seen a snowball? It just begins to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, right? And it just spins out of control. And then it's just so big. It's like, how on earth do we even get this thing to stop? And so that's why we're covering the little things, because when we go into step-by-step self-deliverance, which will be coming up this year, we're going to go step-by-step self-deliverance. We're going to go to how to actually go and be delivered, where to go to be delivered. All of these things are important, but I got to give you the absolute foundations. And I won't go too far. We're going to wrap up with prayer and discussion. All right. If you are the child in the family that receives harsher discipline than the other children. I know for my family, my older sister, I felt, had very hard discipline at times, and I was always like fighting her, picking on her, teasing her. I actually was called Teaser. That was my nickname when I was growing up, because I would just love to tease. If my brothers and sisters got corrected, I'm one of 8 children. If one of them got corrected, as soon as my parents walked out of the room, I would go, ha ha. Like, guys, that was mean. So I would tease her. But there were times where she was being so severely disciplined and really it was abused that I would feel bad for her. I would be in my room and I would be like, I wish they would just stop because it's so bad. It's so bad. I would plug my ears because I couldn't take any more of the screaming. It was bad. And then, you know, as my brothers were born, I was old enough to take care of babies. And I actually did. I actually took care of my brother, Stephen. He's the baby of the family. I took care of my brother, Stephen, and all the way up until he was about 4 years old, he actually thought I was his real mother. When my mother brought him home a few days later, I asked her to please move the crib into my room. And so I moved the crib into the room. And is it froze? I don't know. Oh, there it is. I moved the crib into the room, and all of his clothes. I went in my mother's room, because that's where the babies were when they were born. My parents had the crib right in there, in their room. I took all of his clothes. I made room in my dresser for his stuff, and I took care of my little brother. And when he began to go to daycare, I would take him to daycare. I don't know. Is it freezing? That's so weird. I hope it's not. But anyway, he thought I was the mother. And so when my brothers were born, okay, it's still working over here. When my brothers were born, Michael, who's the oldest boy, all the boys came last. Michael's the oldest boy, John, Joe, Stephen. Children for that. And I will share that with you.